The second way to double your revenue is that you take what's working and you find a new place to sell it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we're dedicated to helping product-based business owners turn into revenue-generating, successful, happy product bosses. I'm Jacqueline Snyder.
And I'm Mina Kunlo-Sitep. Together through digital courses, coaching, and masterminds, we've helped over 50,000 students from startup to multi-million-dollar businesses scale their sales while blending in their dream life.
It gets lonely out there in the product business world. We fully believe a business shouldn't be built alone. There's room at the top for all of us.
So let's get scrappy and creative together, Product Boss, to be profitable, make more sales, and grow your visibility.
Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hey there, friend. Can you believe that the summer is already starting to wind down? It always feels like summer is never long enough, right? And that's exactly why it's so important to make the most of the remaining summer days we have left. Now, as a product boss, you're probably wondering about the best way to do that, especially as we're about to head into our busiest season yet. Now, the answer lies in embracing AI. The latest research reveals that marketers have been able to cut their work time on manual admin tasks in half with the help of AI. I know, wow, mind blown. So, if you're a product-based business owner wearing all the hats and constantly feeling like there's never enough time in the day, imagine what having your time on those marketing tasks could actually mean for you and your business. That's why HubSpot has integrated AI tools directly into their CRM platform, which features things like ChatSpot and Content Assistant. With a straightforward chat-based command, you can summarize research, create copy, and pull reports in seconds. This means you can spend more of your precious time on things like making your products and shipping and serving your customers. It's time to start working smarter, not harder, Product Boss. Learn more and get started at HubSpot.com. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. So remember, this is Jacqueline and Mina of The Product Boss, and we are here to help you get more eyes on your business, improve your systems in your business, and keep more money in your pocket and double your revenue by adding on different revenue streams to your product-based business. And so today's episode is right on par with that because we're going to talk about how you could take the first steps to doubling your revenue today. Yes, we said double. So whatever you're at, let's talk about doubling it. Now, if you are somebody who's like, thanks, ladies, this sounds amazing, but I'm making 0 and 0 times 2 is 0, right? Because that's a math problem that Mina and I usually get tripped up on. That if you're at 0, then let's talk about how can you make your first $100. Let's make it really simple, right? How can you make your first $100? And then how can you double that and make your first $200? So we're going to tackle that topic at another time. But listen to this one because we're going to show you that once you start to make money, how simple it is to then start to make more and more money and continue to double.
I actually think that they're the same strategy.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, because let's say you sold 100 candles. You should just figure out which candles you sold and try to sell another 100 of those same candles that were the best ones. You know, like if you were to tier out or rank your products with like the margins are easiest to sell or whatever, like what we go over in bestsellers in multi-stream machine, then you just simply are like, oh, okay, that was really easy right now to sell that lemongrass eucalyptus candle. I'm going to try to sell 100 more of those and focus on that and see how I can make that into 200.
Yeah. But what if they're at 0?
If they're at 0, well, they need to make those initial sales for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So the first step on how to double your revenue today, our very, very first step is that you figure out your bestseller or you niche down or you figure out the product, the offer that you are going to make to your customers. So what does that mean? Exactly what Mina said. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's just say you're starting from 0, right? Or you've started selling. You're going to make a decision and say, today is the day that I'm going to sell lavender scented candles. I know lavender people love. It's proven.
Yeah. And they would know, right? Because the thing is, even if you have a candle business and you have 0 sales, you're of that industry. You research it.
You should know something.
Yeah. And so you have an awareness to it where outside of the general customer, they would know as business owners, okay, lavender might be popular right now, or lemongrass, eucalyptus, like I said, or maybe a citrus blend or
Yeah.
something, you know?
Or we always default to candles, but let's go to something else. Like, let's say you sell bags.
Yeah.
And you're seeing everywhere that everybody, including us, are wearing fanny packs.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, I have a fanny pack. I should start to sell fanny packs. Like, fanny packs are trending, right? Because it's your job as the business owner to be aware of your market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is, I can't even tell you how crucial this is, that you should be aware of your market and know what's happening. I've had tons of conversations with business owners where I'm like, well, what's happening? Like, they do, let's say they do artwork. And they're like, this is artwork and this is artwork for baby's nursery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what kind of baby's nursery? Like, which interior designer or which influencer would have this in their nursery? And they can't tell me because they don't actually follow what's happening in trends of what's happening in nurseries, right? So if you need to become an expert at your category, like Mina's saying. So I would say that if you have proven product that's sold, then you know what your bestseller is. If you don't, then you make a decision based off of your own research in the market to say, I'm going to sell pictures with baby giraffes because I'm seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell gold chunky chain necklaces because they're everywhere. I'm going to sell lavender scented candles because everyone's talking about sleep and how you need lavender everywhere, right? So I think you're going to the first step is picking your product and picking the thing that you're going to try and put in front of more people.
Yeah. It's where you start if you don't have the sales or the data to forecast from, right? Because eventually you'll be able to forecast, what you could be doing. So then let's say, like Jacqueline said, you decided to do giraffe prints and they sold really, really well. Then at this time of year, next year, you would try to do the same thing. That maybe in late summer, that's when giraffes are really popular, right? And then you test it out again to see in that season and that seasonality, could you forecast the same sort of thing? The same is done even for like Halloween prints and things like that,
Yeah.
That there's like usually trends or something happening in the industry, but there's usually like core, standard things that happen all the time.
Yeah, like if you do spooky Halloween, then you're going to have skulls, bats, and right? Skulls and bats, maybe some spiders.
Yeah.
And if you're doing like cutesy, you're going to have pumpkins and candy corn and like probably lots of pumpkins. So you're going to know, like, you should know that. So I think that when we're talking about the first steps to take to double your revenue is one, identifying the product, identifying the thing you're going to offer, right? So again, whether you've gone through our challenges, whether you're in multi-stream machine or you're joining us in multi-stream machine and you're understanding what a bestseller is, or you're at that part of kind of guessing, this is where you're going to be first. Hey friend, I'm just going to interrupt this episode really quickly because it's podcast recommendation time. Okay, so this month we are really enjoying the Hustle Daily Show. It's hosted by Zachary Crockett, Jacob Cohen, Robert Litters, and Julie Bennett, which is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. The Hustle Daily Show brings you a daily dose of offbeat and informative takes on the most recent interesting business and tech stories. One of my favorite things about the show is how on top of the stories they are, because they make sure that their episodes are always released and relevant to what's currently happening in the world. So one of their most recent episodes is all about the writer's strike, which is happening in Hollywood. And it's actually affecting my family because if you don't know it, my husband is an actor and now his union as the actors are striking and the writer's strike. And they're really talking about what AI has to do with those strikes. And let me tell you, it is so informative because as business owners, I think it's so crucial for us to understand what's happening in the world outside of our own market to see how it can play into our businesses as well. Because while AI is amazing, there are a lot of cons for writers and actors. And this episode is really interesting and they dig in and they'll give you their take on it. So I can't wait for you to dive into that episode. Listen to the Hustle Daily Show wherever you get your podcasts. Hey, product boss. Okay, it's your product biz coach here, Jacqueline, and I have a treat for you. So the other day we got a message on Instagram from our friend Lolly. Now she's a product boss and she was on the hunt for an easy to use inventory management software to keep track of her raw goods and what she had ready to sell. And guess what? We had an answer for her. Not only did we have a fantastic inventory management software to refer her to, but we also had a whole treasure chest of 308 other business tools and resources to make her product-based business easier to manage and more efficient to grow. And we have it for you as well. Now picture this: packaging and printing supplies, affiliate management, website and email software, legal resources, video and photo tools. Oh my, you name it, we've got it. And here's the cherry on top. It is totally free, right? It's not going to cost you a single penny. That's right, because you can get your hands on the Product Boss's Ultimate Resource Guide absolutely free. We are on a mission to change small businesses' lives and their ability to grow around the world. And whatever we can do to help you do that, we are here for it. And so we're hoping that this resource guide is one step closer to reaching your dreams. So all you need to do is slide into our DMs on Instagram with the word guide and just send us that message and we will send you a link to download it right away. Or you can head straight to theproductboss.com/resource guide. Easy peasy. Oh, and did I mention you can also DM us guide on Instagram and voila, we'll shoot you that link right away. So my friend, don't wait another second. You can get your hands on the Ultimate Resource Guide for Product Bosses right now. Now let's jump back into the show. I mean, then the second step to doubling your revenue is that you take what's working and you take what's working well and where it's selling. So if you're selling on Etsy and I were to ask you, hey, okay, you're selling on Etsy, what's selling? You might be like, well, I always sell my 8x10 prints of the map of California. I'm like,
we wouldn't get that answer though.
No,
I bet you anything. We would get, well, I sell 25 different variations of candles and I sell 50 different body butters and 30 chapsticks. Should I put them all into Amazon?
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's what we teach inside, right? We teach like, how do you identify what that is?
Yeah.
But if from this, what we're saying to you is like, you look at that and you say, okay, what is my bestseller? What is the thing I can run with? Like, what's the thing I want to bet my money on? Because that's what you're doing. You're betting your time and your money on it. And you're saying, you know what? The map of California or these mugs with extra large handles do really well. And I sell them great in black and white.
Fanny packs, but oversized.
Yeah, which I bought. So I'm glad I've inspired this conversation.
Well, because I was just thinking about fanny packs and right now, oversized ones are really the thing.
Yes. And so like fanny packs, but oversized or just fanny packs, right? You're like, I'm seeing them everywhere. Right now is the time that I'm going to double down on my fanny packs. And so one, you're going to sell it on your main platform. Okay. So that's number one. I think you're already going to see a rise in revenue when you sell it where you're already selling well. So if you're selling it in person markets, you better believe you put it front and center, you wear it, you show it, you light it. It's in the front and you talk about it. You send emails about it. You post about it on social media. You, if it's on Etsy, it is the thing that it's, in your display page, there's the variations on that. It's not all the other stuff. Where else are we selling? On your website, if I land on your website, is there a hero image that's showing me or images anywhere that I know, oh, those are your best sellers. Oh, you're known for, giant fanny packs.
Yeah. You build your stories around it. You, like Jacqueline said, you talk about it much more and you actively sell those products. So that way, not only are you just talking about them, but you're trying to get to that goal of I sold 100 of these. Now I want to sell my next 100.
Yeah. So you want to first start where you know it's going to work and sell more of those. Get better at it. Then I think the second way, so already you're going to make more money. The second way to double your revenue is that you take what's working and you find a new place to sell it.
Yeah.
So what would you say about that?
I think that's when, that conversation of, oh, should I get onto a new platform? Like we say that, sometimes people are like, oh, okay, I've always wanted to get on the shelves of boutiques. How do I do that? Okay, well, let's start thinking about, your products being on wholesale and how you can do that. Or sometimes they're like, oh, if I were to get onto Amazon, how would I do that? Well, that's where that conversation that I said earlier, that sometimes people come to us and they're like, should I put all 55 products on Amazon? And we will tell you, no, you start with what you're already selling really well. The initial one or two products,
Yeah.
And then you go from there, especially because you're not going to, this is the thing is like, it's just like what Jacqueline said, you're betting on that. So you normally wouldn't be like, I'm going to throw all my eggs onto there and see what happens. You would test it out first. So then that way, let's say it starts working really well, then you start improving that second one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you're optimizing your first place that you sell, and then you're adding a second one, and then you're improving it. So a few episodes ago, I talked about somebody that I got to work with at VIP session, and we were talking about how her art, she's an artist, and how it does really well in greeting cards, and she sells greeting cards. So when I coached her one-on-one, and I'll coach you all right here, I said, okay, so your greeting cards are doing well. Okay. Well, your next step is first, let's pick another place you want to sell. What resonates with you, right? And I presented her all the ways we teach. Do you want to sell these on Amazon? No, I don't really want to sell these things on Amazon. Okay. Do you want to do in-person markets? Do you want to do art shows? Nope. I do not want to pack up all my stuff every weekend and go to art shows and stand in the sun. I don't want to do it. Great. All right, you have a website, but you're not getting traffic. That was a much bigger lift. So we're like, just keep working on your blog, which we teach. Do you want to do stuff on social media? She's like, nope, don't have time for that. Don't want to do it. Don't want to do any of that. Okay. So I was like, how about wholesale? She's like, well, I've considered wholesale. Are these priced correctly? And I'm like, yeah, we went through a pricing formula, and we're like, yeah, these are priced pretty correctly. Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about all the different ways that you could then add a new platform, take what works, which are your gift cards, and sell them wholesale. And then we presented the different ways. Yeah. Are you going to call stores and try and do it? Are you going to get your stuff on Fair and try and sell it? Are you going to go to trade shows and try and sell? And so we worked out that it was going to be a mesh of a few. It's going to be like, we're going to try Fair, but we also identified like the top places she wanted to sell to. And her next step was to contact them and say. So she then all of a sudden started to take, she sells like, I don't know, let's just say she sells 50 greeting cards a month by herself. And now she's trying to sell wholesale, and she's selling packs and minimums, which we teach inside of the program of these cards. Then all of a sudden she's selling more of them in other places and getting discovered, and people are going to discover her product somewhere else and then actually come to her website and buy more.
Yeah.
Right. And so do you see how that kind of compounds on itself, where it's like, we didn't say, go take your prints and your art and do this and do that and do all these things. We said, what's working, what fits you best, which was wholesale. And then let's step into it. It's not like making it super huge, but let's just step into it and say, okay, now our challenge is, can we sell 50 greeting cards to wholesale buyers? And it felt so much easier. And that right there, my friends, is not only the quickest way to double your business, but triple, quadruple, like 10x your business, because you have no idea what will happen once you get focused and you do the work to promote, and then you add on a new place to sell.
Yeah. And I think that, it does have to be something that fits with you personally, because she was like, no, I don't want to get into Amazon. I don't want to do social media. So it's like, to keep herself motivated, it would be her own path, right? Her own path to profit. And so really thinking about that, because it's, once she starts, let's say she does do wholesale because she's always want to be on the shelves of boutiques or whatever it is. And then she starts having this goal of, hey, I'm going to double to 50 stores, 100 stores, 200 stores. And then I'm also going to try to get them to do their reorders.
Yeah.
Right? So even that gets put into there in another compound or exponential way.
Yeah.
So it really starts to snowball. So,
and why that it was an easier path for her, because this is what we teach inside of Multi-Stream Machine, is your path to profit, which each of us have a path to profit. So working with her, that was her path to profit. We work with somebody else, they have a totally different path to profit.
And greeting cards too. And sometimes people will choose their own website, or they'll choose on Etsy, or they'll choose Amazon. We have tons of people on Amazon selling greeting cards.
Yeah. And I actually said that. And she's like, nope, not for me. Right.
Yeah.
So what we want you to know is what do you want and what don't you want? What do you want to commit to and what don't you want to commit to? And what I think Mina and I want to tell you is like, it's all possible. You have to do work. There is going to be a point, like you cannot think like, if I build it, they will come. If I make it, they will buy it, right? You are going to have to do some element of marketing.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find the people. We call it reach marketing, where you reach out and go get them. Like we pull marketing and push marketing. Push is where
but you described it perfectly.
Yeah.
You go out and get them.
You go out and get them. You have to do this in a version. But what we are fully supportive of for each of you in your lives is, what version of it does it make sense for you? Because that's what we want, right? We want true alignment with each of us and the choices that we make in this life and the businesses that we've created from nothing. We want that all to align with the life and lifestyle that you want. And that's why I think the way we teach it in our programs there are so many paths to profit, which is why we present, here are the different ways to get more eyes. Here are the ways to get more sales.
And it's not that to say that you have to do that forever or that's permanent. That's what I love about it too, is you have all the tools to, let's say she does do wholesale and she finds that, oh, now I do want to do Amazon, or I do want to build my own website, or I do want to start blogging more in an intentional way, not blogging, but SEO, right? Yeah. And then it's like, that's how businesses are built. You're not doing the same things for forever.
Yeah.
You're having to pivot along with what you want in life, but also, what the market wants from you.
Yeah.
And so,
and I found that is the easiest way, because she did have a website built.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I didn't say that, okay, you got the website built, let's just keep pushing to that, is because when you have a website, it is actually your job to do the marketing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's your job to either pay ads for people to find and discover you, for you to grow organically in some sort of marketing capacity, where there's a way that you're building an email list, that there's a way that you're growing your following or your social. Like when you have your own website, you are fully responsible for getting the people to your site.
Yeah.
And that is a bit of a harder, longer play. It is completely possible. We've seen people blow up doing it, and make the money they want to make. But for her energy, her effort, and what she had the capacity to do, it was not our next step to double.
Yeah.
The easiest next step was actually wholesale. And she just had to make the relationships and sell to 10 stores.
Right.
And get them to sell for her, because she doesn't need to dance on social media for a wholesale buyer to buy from her.
Right.
And that was the quickest and easiest way for her to double. And then as she starts to grow her confidence and make more money and be able to hire people, then she could dig back into her website to make that her third platform.
Right. Love it.
Right. So I hope that this helped with these 3 steps for you to double your revenue today. And if you need that support, as you know, we're here for you. We have multistreammachine.com. So that is always available to you if you're like, yes, I want to take the next step with you. But otherwise, we will see you twice a week on this podcast. So see you in the next one.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know, so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode, so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.